I'm Elizabeth Hines, and welcome to another episode of Coast Connections. Well, it's official. We've actually gone to the dogs here on Coast Connections for this episode. The Vancouver Island Compassion Dogs, that is, a division of the BC Guide Dogs Association. And joining me today for this wonderful interview to talk about the work that they're doing helping veterans recover from PTSD, we have our special guest, Sarge. Hi, buddy. How are you? Beautiful golden lab. And we have Sarge's human. We have Stefan Marcotte.
Thanks
Welcome,
for having me.
Stefan. Nice for you to be here. And the founder of the Guide Dogs, the VICD, Mike Annan. Hello, Mike.
Hi, yes, co-founder.
Co-founder, okay.
Yes, there's more than one of us.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, this is a wonderful thing that you're doing here on Vancouver Island for our veterans. And Stefan, thank you for your service to our country. And I'm so happy that we have this type of service for you now in your retirement that can bring you a lot of peace and happiness as you go forward with your life. So that's wonderful. Mike, you started off how long ago with training these dogs specifically for veterans for suffering with PTSD?
So the idea came about just after 2012. A friend of mine that I know that owns a pet store, I know him through running my own training school on Vancouver Island here, asked me one day if I knew of anyone or if I could train a dog to help a veteran with PTSD. And I said, sure, I could. And that was sort of the idea and the inception of that. Little did I know she was then gone and talking to the folks at the Comox base and wrangled up our first veteran that was going to be our first veteran going through the program. Mm-hmm. So the inception was in about 2012. Mm-hmm. It took about 6 or 7 months for me to come up with an idea of how we would actually tackle this and what we would do. I talked to several mental health people in the community. One lady in particular that I knew was a friend of mine that used to work on the base. We brought her on in the initial idea of the program just to see if we could figure out what it would take to not only train a dog to support somebody, but to support that person that was coming in to receive a dog from us or training. Mm-hmm. So I'd say just after 2012.
Mm-hmm. And since that time, you've matched up how many teams, veterans and their service dog?
We've got 48 teams currently in service,
wow.
10 dogs in training, and 16 teams going through our 52-week Healthy Community Living program at the moment.
That's really impressive. And that's just right here on Vancouver Island where you're doing this. And your dogs are from puppyhood right through till adulthood, aren't you? You have a breeding program.
Yeah, so our program in 2013-14, we built a relationship with BC Guide Dogs. The CEO and founder of BC Guide Dogs, Bill Thornton, the other co-founder, Barb, knew him because she had done a puppy raising as a volunteer for that organization. So we decided it would be a great idea to ask him to help us and give us some advice. And they really took over from there as our mentor. And since then, we've built this long relationship. So all our puppies, now that we are an official division of BC Guide Dogs, 7-8 years later, come through a breeding program, an in-house breeding program that we run. So all our dogs are bred, raised, and purpose trained for their specific service. And that takes about 2 years from the time they're born until they're qualified to be placed with a first responder or veteran.
That's impressive. And you have a long history of being a dog behaviorist and a professional trainer. So all of this expertise that you're bringing to the program is really invaluable.
Yeah, I've been in the dog training and behavior industry since 2006 myself as a professional. Full-time job since 2007. And it's been my career ever since. I've run several successful dog training and behavior businesses in British Columbia and on Vancouver Island. So yeah, there's a lot of knowledge that comes from there and experience, but that's the original part, yeah.
Very good. And Stefan, just a bit about your military career. You were with the Canadian Navy.
Yes, I spent 28 years in the Canadian Navy, and 18 of those was in submarine.
Wow.
So I did 2 different classes of submarine, the older submarine, Oberon class, and the Victoria class.
And you're saying that there's only a very limited number of servicemen and women who are on submarines.
Yeah, we probably less than 500 in all Canada.
Wow.
That and probably like less than 200 active, and so that's pretty niche forces.
Very much so, yeah. And you suffered from PTSD starting in 1995, you were saying. And for about 20 years, you struggled with various ways to cope with that. And it wasn't until you met Sarge that you got the magic cure for your condition.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, in 1995, that was the big impact on my PTSD. And PTSD is more like you fill up a glass of water, one drop at a time. And eventually the glass is full and it just overfill. So it's not only one event, but many events. And as well as the stigma around PTSD. You don't talk about it, and otherwise you'll get no job. People don't do a bus is very not good to you. So most likely you keep inside and you bottle until the bottle will just explode inside of you. But this now we have more and more resource and help, such as a service dog, to help veteran and first responder to cope and help and heal for about PTSD.
And PTSD not only obviously affects yourself, Stefan, but your family, your relationships, your occupation, your hobbies, your recreation activities, all those things suffer, don't they, when you're in that type of a state?
Basically, PTSD take over your life, and not in a good way. I was stuck in my basement for months and months, and just in bed or in the basement. My wife suffer, my stepchild suffer, my friends never see me. At work, when I was going to work, and at that time I was still working, I was very sad and not happy to go to work. So the only place I was happy is being in my basement in the dark, and that was my happy place.
Well, I'm so glad that you've been able to emerge from that. And special thanks to Mike's organization and how he paired you up with Sarge. So tell us a little bit about that, Mike. How do you actually pair a veteran with the right type of dog?
So that was a long process in figuring that out since inception. There wasn't a lot of schools when we started that were doing operational stress injuries and post-traumatic stress service dogs. So we kind of, in collaborating with the mental health community and some dog training, we had our ideas in the beginning. But over the last 8 years, what we've learned is how to specifically cue on a dog that is sensitive to somebody's sympathetic nervous system. So that we know that this dog will be aware when we're teaching them to do automatic alerts to agitation, pressuring tasks, things to let somebody know that they're starting to not feel well, and then you add a task to that to the dog to help them. So it's really important that a dog is sensitive and aware enough, and then also a dog is calm. So as you can see, Sarge is very calm.
Very.
Yeah, so he's a nice bracing contrast to somebody that's feeling anxious or feeling agitated in the moment. And then they have to be well behaved. So all of our dogs do a 43-point test in public access, going through malls, escalators, elevators, meet and greeting the public, making sure that they're capable, safe, and have done a rigorous data collection and testing so that we know when we place them with somebody for 8 years of service with that person that they're going to have a well-behaved dog and not a problem in public. Putting all those things together is how we qualify dogs. And then we get to know our applicants. We have an interactive application process. So every service dog school has a queue and a waiting list. It's just the way it works. It's the name of the game, really, and it's the hardest part that we all struggle with as a provider and somebody that's waiting for a dog. So what we've done is we recognize that, and we invite our applicants to come to our school every month for what we call a dog experience, where they get to come as an applicant who's in the waiting list or in the queue, and they get to interact with dogs, interact with our instructors, get used to coming to the school. And we get to learn a lot about each other.
Yeah.
So not only are we learning a lot about the dogs, we're learning a lot about the applicants, their families, their daily routines, their activity levels, injuries, sore backs, active, runner, hiker, all of that stuff together. 2 years of data on the dog, probably 6 months to a year data on our handler. That's part of our pairing process.
Wow, that is very comprehensive. That's remarkable, the amount of investment that goes into pairing like this. So, Stefan, what was it like for you to meet Sarge for the first time? What was that connection like?
That was pretty different. I never had a dog in my life before this, so Sarge was my first time I had a dog.
Wow.
So the pairing was you come to a room and they bring you a dog. You interact with, you go for a walk. Then I had 3 dogs. One was very active, one was semi-active, and one was like Sarge was very calm. So the second dog came to me and was pretty hard pulling and hard on my back. So I was not. It was a good dog, but it was not the dog for me. And the other dog was jumping 8-foot fence and so very active. And I'm not that active because of my couple injury I have. And Sarge came around the room, sniff everyone, and he came sit right on my foot.
Oh.
That was incredible. And we went for a walk, and it was enjoyable. He was just walked beside me, not pulling, nothing, looking. It was almost like we know each other for a long time. We kind of connect that way, and that was amazing. Then the next day, they asked me which dog I like the most. I said Sarge, and they see the interaction I had, which dog will be better for me. So what they do, as a group, they decide that Sarge will be a good dog for me. Then they call it sleepover. They come over to my house for 3 nights. And that was incredible. That was nice. How he interact with the cat. I had 3 cats at a time. And in my yard, where I go for a walk with him, is sleeping, that was a different thing for me, because before was not going for a walk at all.
Yes.
And just start to go, and then I have to bring it to walk, not my wife. So that was I have to do it. So
that
then
got you out of the basement.
Out of the basement
absolutely.
and go for a walk. And after 3 days, we bring him back to the school, so to see how his behavior changed, my behavior, how do I like it, if I still want to carry on with the program.
Yeah.
And on Thursday morning, I woke up and I was so emotional and crying. I said, Sarge is gone.
Oh.
And I said, my wife thought he passed. I said, no, he's not here with me this morning. So I kind of connect already with him. And then I said, no, he's gone he's not here. And 2 days later, I received an email say, yes, that was going to be paired with Sarge. So I come pick him up from Victoria, and I went to pick him up in Comox. That's what he was. And I said, I go pick him up, and I don't have to wait until Monday. I drive up and pick him up. And I pick him up on his birthday on the 7th of May. And that was the best thing ever happened. And
happy birthday to you and him.
Yeah, both. Yeah, we would. That was amazing. Our journey start, and that was the way that my life started to change.
The healing began.
The healing
Yeah.
began that.
And continues to this day.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
We still,
beautiful.
after 4 years, we still learn to each other. And if I have a nightmare, he wake me up. If I'm not there, sometime I'm in another planet and he just poke me, he just make sure that I pay attention to him. He jump on me when to ground me. He create barrier around front sides. If somebody is behind me and I'm in a grocery store, somebody they always behind you and looking, and so he's behind it, he's created a barrier. So that's kind of helped me to not panicking or just leave the store. Sometimes somebody was like that, I just leave the store, leave all my grocery there and just left. Many times I did that because
You were overwhelmed.
my bubble don't go in my bubble, and so he's in my bubble, make sure nobody else coming. And
That's beautiful. What a beautiful relationship you've established with him. Now, Mike, this program and the intensive training, 2 years of training for one team to be graduated, how are you funded? Where does this money come from?
So we are our two major sponsors and funders are, one is the BC Yukon Legion Command and the BC Yukon Legion Foundation and all the individual branches. I've just been so supportive and amazing for our program and really helping keep our program running from year to year. The hardest part as a charity is to plan for the next year. And then another huge supporter of ours is Wounded Warriors Canada. And they have been paramount for us being able to plan for the future. And they just their mental health services that Wounded Warriors Canada provides for first responders and veterans, and the work they do in fundraising for not only just service dogs but for other programs that are Wounded Warriors programs has just been phenomenal. Aside from that, individual volunteer fundraising, writing grants, trying to find fits for that, and just support from the communities and education and awareness.
Because this is a not-for-profit organization that you're running, so that's impressive that you're able to do this.
So we're a registered charity.
Yes.
And yeah, we're run. Yeah.
And there's also opportunities for people to get involved with the animals, like you could foster one of your dogs and help pay for the veterinary bills and the health care for the animals. Is that?
Absolutely, yeah. So we all of our dogs are raised in family homes and communities. So we have so many amazing volunteers with BC Guide Dogs and the VICD program that house the puppies and raise them. We have amazing puppy groups and puppy programs. And then when they go into advanced training, all of these dogs live in somebody in the community's homes, and they bring the dogs to class, and our instructors go daily, pick the dogs up and train them. So that's always a thing that we need. Without that, we can't produce dogs. So anyone wishing to volunteer or help out in that regard, we always welcome that with open arms. And the second part is, is donating to the program itself, so that helps us plan forward. The 52-week program that we run with our teams is quite comprehensive. And it is a fairly unique service delivery model. But all of the money that goes towards the teams, it starts from breeding the dog, raising the dog, putting folks through a 1-year program with our client services team, which consists of qualified dog instructors and a mental health person on each team. And then it's 8 years of support and service after that. So it's the entire service life of the dog that we provide after graduate mentoring, like Stefan said. If there's something out of line for bills, we help as much as we can for all of that stuff as well.
That's tremendous.
And when somebody's in the program for 52 weeks, it's at no cost to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by that. That's because there's tremendous costs involved in this. Now, Stefan, how has beautiful, wonderful Sarge here changed your life?
First of all, he made my quality of life changed dramatically, like in a good way. And I'm out of the house. I go to the grocery store, so my wife don't have to do all the groceries. I came here today and just to talk about the program and our relationship. and I wouldn't be here if that was not for him. So many of us, they end up their life because they have nowhere to go. One of the things, if a veteran or first responder think that could be a good fit, that could change their life as well as change mine. And we 24/7 together, and that's pretty incredible, the bonding that we have. Yes, and like right now he's sleeping, but he's not. He's always on duty. When he's get his vest on or off, it's like a police officer. He's always alert. So right now, if I start to be stressed, he'll probably come on right on my knees, but he's grounding me right now. You don't think he does a lot, but right now he's actually grounding me. So so subtle, but he does it, and that's pretty amazing, that the life changing what a dog can do.
And Mike, how would a veteran who's watching this, if they felt the need for a similar wonderful service like this, companion service dog, how would they go about that?
So the easiest way in is to just go to our website. You can go to info@VIC, or you can go to VICD.ca, and look at the application process, research the program, fill out an application form online. That application form will come into our office. Within a week of receiving it, we will respond to you. And then the next step is coming in for an information session where we can go through the program with them. But getting on the website, having a look, and filling out the application form would be the first step.
And I must say, your website is really, really good. There's lots of really good stories on there about veterans and their service dog, and how they have totally changed their lives, like you, Stefan. And also all the different ways that people can donate and help you. And it's just a really well put together site, and I think you're going to be evolving that soon as well into even a better iteration.
We've been working on putting some more current information on there as well. As you know, websites are an always evolving thing, and all programs are living, breathing things that we're always trying to improve on. So yeah.
And is there a certain type of breed of dog, Mike, that you prefer?
We breed Labradors, some Golden Cross. That's what's in our breeding program. In our breeding program, we belong to the International Guide Dog Federation and Assistance Dogs International as an accreditation on both. So we do get to co-op and share ideas and breeding with organizations that we're involved in. We actually, speaking of accreditation, became a member of Assistance Dogs International, and we were the first school accredited under the PTSD service dog standards that was designed by an international committee of psychologists, veterans, and service dog schools around the world.
Congratulations.
So that was a pretty big feat for our school, which my point is really built our education and really built a solid program with foundations, and helped us with knowing what kinds of things we needed to do for our.
Because on your team you also have mental health professionals.
Correct.
Who assist veterans.
So we have a mental health professional on Vancouver Island that assists our team on Vancouver Island, our client services team. We have one on the mainland that assists our team in Vancouver mainland, and we have one in Edmonton, as we also have a school we've just recently started working on in Edmonton as well. So there's one mental health minimum master's level RCC in our program that has experience and education in trauma as well.
Very solid team that you've set up there.
Yeah.
And Stefan, Mike mentioned the Wounded Warrior program, and that's something that you're also involved in. You also give back into the Wounded Warrior program, don't you?
Yeah. I thought the Wounded Warrior Canada and Vancouver Island Compassion Dogs is the two things that saved my life, and I like to give back, and I will never give enough back to what they give me. And I do that. I'm retired. All I do is give back and helping those two charities. And Windward Canada's help Vancouver Island Compassion Dogs with some program, and as well as other schools in Canada.
Yeah.
So that's a national, and I'm so proud to be part of both charity. And it's just every year we do so much, and they give back.
And you just came off a 600-kilometer run from Port Hardy to Victoria with the Wounded Warrior Program, raising money for the programs, and that's a big commitment. Yeah, you and Sarge.
Last week I was supporting me and Sarge and my wife. We support team. We have 8 runners, 8 support, and that's a 8-day run from Port Hardy to Victoria. And every year we raise fund for Windward Canada program, including the service dog. So we have about 10 different programs that help veteran and first responder. It's kind of almost the intertwine, and we help each other. So we call it in this together. That's their motto, and that's what we do. We help as much as I can to for the program.
Well, it's wonderful to see just this connection. You can feel this connection here on the stage between you and Sarge. It's beautiful to see that. And I'm so glad that this beautiful animal is bringing such a wonderful healing energy to your heart and to your household as well, for you and your wife and family. I think that's really important. And thank you, Mike, for everything that you're doing with this wonderful charity to help and heal and make stronger connections here in our community.
Thank you.
Super important work. And I just really encourage our viewers to support what you're doing. Go on the website, maybe there you can foster, maybe you can donate for some veterinary costs or animal food or all kinds of things. But thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure to have you here. And you too, Sarge. Hey, buddy. There you go. He's going to have the last word. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Coast Connections. I hope this has given you pause to support the BC Guide Dogs and help people like, woo, there you go, Sarge, Stefan and Sarge. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Coast Connections.